Russell Moore is the president of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission of the Southern Baptist Convention, and he joins us now. Dr. Moore, thanks for being with us. As you well know, today was a big day at the High Court. Your initial reaction to the two cases that came down today?
Well, I'm overjoyed, and I'm really bothered when I hear people say this is a victory for religious people, as though it's a defeat for non-religious people. This is a victory for all Americans, because the principle of religious freedom applies to everyone, and a government that's big enough to restrict religious freedom is a government that can do anything. So this is good news for everybody.
The ELRC wrote an amicus brief in the Our Lady of Guadalupe school case, which overturned a lower court ruling from California's Ninth Circuit. Why was it so important for you all to file the friend of court brief? Because
what was at issue here is whether or not the government is able to define what ministry is and how a religious institution defines what ministry is to be, or whether or not they're allowed to recruit people who are in line with their doctrine and their practices of their own religions. And so this was a very serious incursion upon the church and other religious institutions by the state.
Dr. Moore, this Supreme Court term has seen many cases of particular concern to evangelicals, between the Louisiana abortion case, the LGBT discrimination ruling, and today's decisions. Some may feel torn about how things have shaken out so far. What are your thoughts? Should Christians be encouraged?
Well, I think it's natural to feel torn, because that's the way the judicial process always is. There are going to be some decisions that we think are right and some that we think are wrong, but we have to keep in the process and keep articulating why this is so important to have religious liberty for everybody. And so I'm really encouraged today, not just because of the two decisions that are handed down today, but because of the continuity that they have with other decisions, such as Hobby Lobby and Hosanna Tabor in recent years. I think that's going to set precedent in the future that will protect religious freedom for everyone, and that's good news.
Do you think the lower courts will follow the high court's ruling? It seemed to affirm its aversion to not get entangled in religious questions or religious proceedings within religious organizations themselves. Do you think that lower courts will actually follow that?
I do, because almost every time that the lower courts have tried to entangle themselves in religious matters, the Supreme Court has knocked that back in recent years. And so I think we really do have a coherent philosophy articulated here that's rooted in the First Amendment, in the Constitution, in legislation such as the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. So I think the constitutional policy here is very clear.
All right. Dr. Russell Moore, we so appreciate your time today.